Hi there, and welcome once again to SLJ.com. I'm Jeff Hastings, and this is an interactive whiteboard. Specifically, it's one of the Promethean ActivBoard 370 Pro Series boards. It's the smallest board in the series. There are 3 models available. This one at 78 inches is the smallest. Now, Promethean sells in the United States exclusively through resellers that work regionally. So pricing is going to vary with them, and it's going to vary based on quantities and packages that schools elect to purchase. But I can tell you that this board would retail for around $12.99 here in the United States. So what makes this the Promethean ActivBoard 370 Pro series? I'm glad you asked. The big distinction is there are built-in speakers on each side flanking the board itself. If you look on the side of this interactive whiteboard, you'll see audio controls. There's a little amp back here and plenty of jacks for jacking in external audio sources. And you know what I like about this board is that if you're connected via USB, which I suppose most people would be in a permanent installation, you already have audio feeding from the PC or Mac that you're connected to. That's really nice. Interactive Whiteboard 101 here. Basically, IWBs, interactive whiteboards, come in one of 2 flavors. You have resistive IWBs and you have electromagnetic IWBs. Resistive interactive whiteboards are the ones that have kind of a squishy membrane surface, and they register input from anything that comes into contact with the surface. So on a resistive interactive whiteboard, you could basically write with your finger if you wanted to and navigate around with your finger, which is kind of cool in a way. As you can see, it's not happening here. This is an electromagnetic whiteboard. It has a rigid surface. It's virtually identical to a standard whiteboard. And it only registers input from this special electromagnetic pen. It's a special pen, but A, it's not an expensive pen. You can get a replacement for around $25. And B, it brings some functions to the table. It has a right-hand mouse click emulation button there, so this does anything that a right-hand mouse click would do in a given situation. And it has hover functionality too. It can, let's say that you want to know what this top icon means in this particular toolbox. If you go to the icon with the pen and you don't make contact, you just hover over it, it'll pop up an explanatory box telling you what the icon does. In this case, it says switch profile. So what's good about resistive boards and what's good about electromagnetic boards? Well, some of the stuff is what I just mentioned. The functionality of the pen is nice. The other things are, for instance, you might say, well, it's kind of cool that you can write with your finger on the board. Well, it is, but consider this. What if you had a bunch of primary students in your class, and let's say that 1/3 of them lacked the fine motor skills necessary to be able to approach the board and write on the board without, for instance, putting the butt of their hand on the board, as is pretty normal. That would be a problem with a resistive board in that it would leave a sort of digital smudge on the board as the student writes. With an electromagnetic board, that doesn't happen because the only thing that registers is the pen itself. So that's a little plus there. The other thing is that, and I'm just throwing this out here, the manufacturers of electromagnetic boards will probably tell you that the boards are slightly more durable than their resistive counterparts. I'm sure that the manufacturers of resistive boards would refute that, but, well, there you have it. Glad or sad? I like it. And what it is, what you're seeing behind me, is what Promethean calls a flip chart, which is their name for presentations created using their software suite, which is called ActivInspire Studio. ActivInspire Studio is simply awesome IWB software, probably the best I've ever seen. There's a zillion creation tools in it. There are tons of templates arranged by discipline, so you can pull up, for example, backgrounds related to the material you teach, and you can teach live over those. There are templates for creating things like interactive quizzes and polls. There are tools for embedding media. It's got everything. It's way too feature-rich to even try to profile here. In fact, it's so feature-rich that I think Promethean representatives are aware that some of their newer customers, first-time IWB users especially, get a little intimidated by trying to figure out everything that it can do, which is why they often tell new users, don't try to create your presentations from scratch initially. Instead, go to our website called Promethean Planet and log on as a user there, and you can go in, join a community of, at present, over 500,000 whiteboard users, search through some of the content that they've already created, and chances are you're going to find something related to your subject matter that you can download and maybe use wholesale, or download and tweak to your specifications. And at present, there's over 17,000 flip charts, lesson plans, and videos and images on the site, all good material that you can use for teaching with your whiteboard. Promethean Planet. Oh, by the way, before I go, you don't have to currently own a Promethean interactive whiteboard to be a Promethean Planet member. You can go up, register, get an account, and look around on that site. Look through flip charts. You can download some software. It's a little limited in its function, but it lets you preview some of the teaching material that's on the site. So consider doing that, as I have done. My name is Jeff Hastings. I thank you for visiting me this month, and I hope to see you again next month right here on slj.com.